Scuba diving is an expensive hobby at first. After you buy the initial gear setup, it's not too bad usually, but there's always something new to buy, something new to try, a new piece of gear that you want, a new place to go, or even a new course that you can learn from. In this video, I'll go over some of my top gifts for scuba divers under $500. Let's get into it. Buying gifts for scuba divers can be pretty tough, and if you're just looking for something a little bit cheaper to get a dive friend of yours, then you might want to check out my video for top gifts under $100 instead that I'll have up in the cards and link down below. In this video, we raise that price up to $500 to really encompass a much more wider realm of gift ideas that really any diver will appreciate, and I've tried to make these things that really apply to divers at any level of expertise and are typically items that they don't already have, or they might really appreciate having an extra one or even an upgrade of what they have currently. This makes these a bit of a safer gift idea because you don't have to ask the diver in your life first about it and spoil the whole gift idea. So I really think that these are going to be great gift ideas, again, regardless of their expertise and background in diving. Now, yes, $500 is quite a bit of money, and I will say that that is the maximum amount though, and many items on this list are quite a bit under that, even half of that dollar amount, so don't get too scared off just yet. Finally, I'll have links down in the description as always, so you can go ahead and check out any of these items yourselves, and I try to give a few different options for each category as well. To kick things off, I have to mention my Surf Fur water parka. This thing is amazing, and it's literally one of the best purchases I ever made for myself as far as gear goes for gear that I don't use in the water itself. Now, if you haven't seen one before, Surf Fur's water parka acts as a overcoat basically that keeps you warm and cozy in between, before, or after your day of diving, whether you're on dry land or on a boat somewhere. But it's not your average boat coat. The Surf Fur is waterproof, windproof, and reversible, and has a whole bunch of hidden features that you might not notice at first glance. First, it has a built-in neck warmer and a hood attached as well that can all be cinched down nice and tight, so you can put that hood on, pull the drawstrings, and keep everything nice and cozy for you while you're trying to stay warm on a cold day. Next, not only does it have pockets, but it also has slits that let you access inside of the parka. This means that you can actually button it up from top to bottom, and you can actually reach inside and use it as a changing robe with full confidence that you're not going to expose yourself to anyone else at the dive site or anything like that. The back has a really long hem on it, and then the front actually hangs down to about knee level as well, so it really lets you actually fully bend over if need be, and while you reach inside, you can pull off your swimsuit, take off your rash guard, or take off your top of your swimsuit if you were in a two-piece, for example, and then you can put on dry clothes instead, and you don't have to worry about maybe dropping a towel or something like that if you've tried to do this out at a dive site just out in public before. Then, because it's reversible, you can just flip it inside out, and that dry outside part will be against your body. The wet inside that had your swimsuit or wetsuit against it will be on the outside then. And it's actually a really quick drying material too, so that outside will probably dry by just you standing around outside for, maybe another 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how wet it got. Outside of its functionality, it's also machine washable, and again, it dries quickly. So even if I have it out while it's really rainy outside and I get completely wet, because it's waterproof, it's not gonna hold on to very much water, so I can just hang it up and it'll start drying for me right away. And then if I do need to wash it, I can just throw it in my wash machine at home. I don't have to bring it to a dry cleaner or do any type of specialty cleaning to it. I also really love that it's made out of 100% recycled fleece, which is just great from a sustainability and eco-friendly aspect as well. Finally, I really like that I can use it outside of diving as well, because at the end of the day, it's just a really nice warm parka. So while it's called a water parka, you don't have to just use it for diving. You can take it when you're out camping, you can take it while you're out skiing, and if you just need a nice warm overcoat that you can change out in if need be, or just keep you dry on a wet day, you can totally use this in a variety of applications. So it's a gift that kind of gives outside of diving as well. Surf Fur also has a few other items that I've tried out as well, such as their beanie and hoodie, so you can check all those out in the link down below. Next up is a way for every diver to capture their memories and easily share them with their friends and family. For me, it's the all-new Insta360 Ace Pro, an action camera that really just stole the show from its competitors when it came out. The Ace Pro has a lot of awesome features, but just to give you a few highlights, one, it can handle low light situations extremely well. It has a flip up screen as well, so you can actually use it for selfie shots or to just get a better angle and view on the type of footage that you're filming when you got that, action camera kind of down on a selfie stick or on your tray and you're trying to get the perfect angle, but you still need to be able to see that screen to see what you're actually shooting at. It also has a really cool AI that can actually make highlight reels for you and even do some other cool things too, like AI warp, which kind of changes the whole scene for you. And then finally, you can actually actually automatically color correct your underwater footage as well, which basically just means when you look at footage online, and a lot of times people have really green or really blue footage, Insta360 actually has an AI chip in there, as well as their software that will automatically improve that color for you and bring back the reds and the things that are missing to really make it look a lot more vibrant and more of a normal underwater video instead of that green-blue hue that you see for a lot of scuba footage. Now, I admit that this is entering kind of the top end of our budget here for the $500, but I gotta say that an Ace Pro with one of the dive packages or like the dive housing or something like that is something that's gonna last not just this year, but for many years to come. There are many people that buy an action camera and they keep the same one for 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 10 years before they upgrade it because they just take care of it and it suits all of their needs. And I really think the Insta360 Ace Pro is gonna be one like that, that'll just keep giving year after year as you continue to capture memories underwater. I left a few links down below to just the camera by itself, which is within budget, and then a few other things too that might push us just beyond that $500. So just to be fair, I did include that, but it might go over budget. Now, whether it's for your new camera or just for diving in general, every diver will enjoy getting a new light or set of lights this year for the holidays. Light and Motion are my current go-to video lights that I use on my underwater camera setup. They actually offer a variety of dive torches as well. So whether that's for some recreational diving or night diving or something like that, they actually have quite a few options available for you. I've used a few different lights from them, and I actually currently use 2 of their Sola 2000s for the video lights on my camera rig. Now, whether you're looking for video lights or strobes or just some dive torches for use underwater, Light and Motion has quite a few different options for you. I left a link down below to their different offerings, and that way you can decide what's going to be best for the diver in your life based on the use case that you're trying to apply for. Now, before I move on, if you're finding this type of content helpful, I'd love if you'd subscribe to the channel for me, as that would be a great gift to me. And I'd also love to hear what gear is on your wish list, so leave a comment down below and let me know. Now, with all this talk about cameras and video lights and things like that, something that I personally found really helpful for me to get up to speed on my underwater video and just kind of learn a few extra tips was a course by Matthias Lebo called Learn to Film Underwater. Now, this is a course that I've not just taken, but I've actually finished every single lesson of it and gone back and rewatched a few lessons. So I can definitely attest to the fact that this is a good course for someone that's looking to get into underwater video for the first time. One of the nice things is Matthias actually just recently launched an app as well to go with his courses. So you can actually download that app and then download every lesson of any course that you purchase right there on your phone. So not only can you watch it on mobile, but you can watch it when you don't have any service either. So whether that's on airplane mode because you're on a plane traveling somewhere, or maybe you're on a boat heading out into the ocean to the dive site and you don't have service, but you want to kind of refresh yourself on a few different skills of underwater video and how to set up your lights, how to get the right shots and things like that. Now, Matthias actually has a few other things in his shop as well that I'd recommend, such as a few different LUT packs. So there's ones for iPhone and GoPro, for example, that allow you to easily color correct your footage and get you pretty close with just applying the LUT and maybe needing just a couple other adjustments. He also has a full course. It's actually the official course for Divefolk, which is a cell phone housing. So if you want to use your iPhone or Samsung or whatever it is underwater as your camera, it's a really great option for you. And you can use the Divefolk housing for that. And he actually wrote the course for it as well. Matthias was actually kind enough to give everyone watching this video 10% off by using the promo code CircleHScuba. So if you enter CircleHScuba at checkout, you get 10% off of anything in your cart, whether that's a LUT pack or even one of the courses that are a little bit more expensive. Again, I've actually taken both of these courses and I've used the LUT packs as well. So I'm not just someone saying, oh, buy these LUTs or take this course and buy it because I think it's good. I've actually gone through the courses myself and I left a testimonial for both of them. So I can tell you that I do believe in the courses. I'll leave a link to his shop down in the description below. And again, remember to use that promo code CircleHScuba at checkout to get the 10% off. Oh, and before I forget, there's a few free products in his shop as well that literally don't cost anything. And it's just a free PDF digital download. So you might want to check those out as well because there's some great tips in those guides. Now, earlier I talked about staying warm before, in between, and after your dive with something like the Surfer water parka that I recommend. But what about during your dive? Sure, a lot of divers probably have some sort of wetsuit at this point that they've picked up, but I promise you, the ExoWear lineup from Bear is something that I cannot recommend enough, and you really want to check this out. Now, if you haven't seen it before, ExoWear is a really lightweight, neutrally buoyant exposure protection option that you can use as a wetsuit or even as a base layer for you, depending on how much warmth you actually need. They have quite a few items in the lineup, such as shorts, pants, pullovers, zip-up jackets, gloves, hoods, boots, and I think even some socks as well. I actually love these so much that I have 2 sets of pants and the zip-up jackets, and I also bought the shorts as well because I just really wanted to have some versatility and have different options with my layering and what I wore depending on the day. Now, they do work as a wetsuit as well, so they give you the warmth of the same as maybe a 2.5 to 3 millimeter wetsuit, but they are lightweight and neutrally buoyant, so you actually don't have to add any more lead or any extra weight to your weight belt or into your weight integrated pockets. Then on the inside, they're actually lined with this really soft and comfortable fleece that keeps you warm, but it's also hydrophobic, so it can actually dry very quickly as well. So not only does it kind of trap that water in like a wetsuit would, but when you turn it inside out, it'll dry for you pretty quickly. The material also has a pretty good amount of stretch in it, so you get the full mobility range that you would, just like you would in a wetsuit or anything like that. Now, to be totally transparent and honest, I typically dive in just a rash guard and some swim trunks because I'm really cold tolerant. That just means I don't get cold that easily. But if there is any chance whatsoever that there's gonna be some abrasion or it starts getting a little bit colder, like right now it's around 60 degrees or maybe just under that in my quarry, so I am actually wearing a wetsuit now, or I'm starting to layer up and maybe even wear my dry suit, then like bare exowear is what I put on. So as it starts to get just a little bit chillier, maybe like high 60s, low 70 degrees Fahrenheit, I'll go ahead and throw on this exowear, and that's enough for me to stay just that extra bit warm. But again, if I need some abrasion resistance or exposure protection, then I also throw this on, whether it's the shorts, the jacket, maybe the jacket and shorts, the jacket and pants, whatever combination I need, just to make sure that I get that little extra warmth while I also get to protect myself from brushing up against any type of objects at all, whether I'm inside of a wreck or maybe just going through some tight spaces or some swim throughs or something like that. So again, just to be clear, like I literally wear these all the time. That's why I have 2 sets, because when one's dirty, I want to make sure I have a second set with me. And on a lot of my dive trips, I actually take both with me so I can swap them in and out throughout the week, because we all know that things start to stink a little bit by the end of a dive trip. Now, one of the best things is that they're actually pretty breathable too. So when you're on the surface, you're not overheating. And that's why I like the zip up jacket, because it's a 2-piece system. I can actually pull up the pants and then have that jacket and just unzip it fully and breathe. And then if I do have it fully zipped up, the whole thing's breathable and moisture wicking, so I can actually use it as a base layer, which is exactly what I do when I put on my Hollis dry suit that I wear. So in cold water, I can go in and put that on too. And again, of course, depending on the undergarments that I need, I might need to put on something thicker or something over that as another layering option, basically. But that moisture wicking allows that sweat to escape the body and means that I can use it as a base layer in my dry suit. Now, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description to the full lineup that includes options for both men and women, as well as options for, again, the zip ups versus the pullovers, and even their ultra warmth line, which I haven't personally tried out too much just yet, so I can't endorse fully, but the exowear I can absolutely wholeheartedly endorse. And I know the ultra warmth is just more of a like 5 millimeter thickness equivalency for the warmth. So I assume it's also great. I haven't tried enough of it myself to say that I endorse it. Exowear, absolutely. Click the link down below to check that out. Okay, so if you haven't caught on already, this is my attempt at making a gift list that is items that I truly use myself, that I truly believe in. And they're also items that most divers maybe don't have yet at all, or maybe haven't really gone that extra mile to spend that extra bit of money on it because they're not exactly a requirement just yet. Or, they don't need an extra wetsuit or that extra nice wetsuit or something like that, or that extra camera or whatever you might. So to keep that theme going, I'm gonna add to the list the Nuvair O2 Quick Stick. Now, if you weren't aware, the absolute #1 specialty that people take after they get open water certified by far is to get nitrox certified, or their nitrox certification. Now, what's kind of strange is that most divers actually never buy their own nitrox analyzer after taking that class, which again, isn't a requirement, but it's a very, very nice to have, and it can be a crucial tool depending on the situation, because sometimes dive shops, whether it's the dive master, the instructor, or maybe the shop just doesn't like giving them out, they won't analyze the tank, so they won't let you analyze your tank, or they don't even bring an analyzer on the boat for you when you're diving nitrox. Now, I have a whole video that I'll put up in the cards, and it's gonna cover basically why I never dive nitrox without analyzing it first, and the importance of really owning your own analyzer, but I'll go ahead and cover some basics here for you. In short, the O2 Quick Stick is a nitrox analyzer that allows you to quickly read the O2 percentage in the scuba tank that you're about to use before you go diving. This means you can know exactly what's in your tank tank so you can set your computer appropriately, and then also know the maximum operating depth of your scuba tank, which allows you to avoid things like literally having a seizure underwater. Now, there are a whole lot of other reasons on why I think you should absolutely own your own analyzer, but go ahead and check out that video if you want to read into that. Now, out of all the analyzers I've tried, the Nuvair O2 Quick Stick is my go-to because it seems to be that perfect balance between something that's compact, has fully user-changeable parts, including user-changeable batteries, so if anything goes wrong, I can just fix it myself. I don't have to send it off for service. And it's at a price point that I can afford that isn't too crazy expensive, but it's also not the cheapest thing ever for something like an oxygen analyzer that I don't really want to cheap out on. I'll leave a link down below in case you want to check it out, and I can almost guarantee you that this is something that every diver would love to have, but more than likely has never bought for themselves, unless they're maybe a scuba professional like an instructor or something like that. Now, a lot of people that look up scuba gifts will find people recommending that the absolute best gift that you can give someone is the gift of travel, and that way you could buy the scuba diver in your life a dive trip. And that's all great, but I mean, most of us don't have over $1,000, sometimes over $2,000 or $3,000 to spend on a dive trip, especially as a gift for somebody. However, what is more reasonable is actually supporting the idea of a dive trip by getting the diver in your life maybe a new gear bag that they can take with them, whether it's for a checked bag or a carry-on bag to bring with them on the plane. Now, I've owned quite a few different dive gear bags at this point, and I use them for different reasons depending on the trip that I'm going on and how much stuff I need to fit in there. So instead of linking all of those individually, I'll go ahead and leave just kind of a general listing down below of dive bags in general that are roller bags that can be checked. Sometimes they're carry-on roller bags or maybe backpack roller bags. But the important thing is that all of these have extra features that are literally made for divers specifically with dive gear in mind. Some of those features might include things like holes to allow a little bit of drainage in case you have wet gear still that goes into the bag. Some of them even have like wet gear bags within the bag. So it's kind of like a separate compartment to put your damp stuff in so you can have your dry clothes that you had in your suitcase somewhere else, and you're not getting your clothes all moldy because you're sitting right next to some wet dive gear that didn't fully dry out before you went back home. There's also extra features in a lot of them, such as just having a longer length so you can fit your fins inside of there properly, because newsflash, fins don't always fit inside of a normal suitcase. I've even seen ones that have an entire pocket on the side that unzips and you can stuff like freediving fins, which can be really long inside the side case there. So they'll have extra straps and tie downs and things like that that are made for dive gear specifically. As we all know, dive gear can get pretty expensive, and we've even seen that on the list here for some of the items I'm talking about. So investing in a really good bag or set of bags that allows you to keep your gear safe when you're traveling, which is what we all want to do. We want to go on dive trips and take our gear with us so we can go enjoy the Caribbean or the tropics or, you know, wherever it is that we're diving. We really want to have a good bag that's going to be able to protect our gear and protect our investment. Now, if you're interested in specific packing tips in terms of like how to pack and actually get it all to fit inside your dive case, then let me know in the comments down below. But I did actually make a video on what to pack for a dive trip, and in that I actually include a PDF that you can download that has a full packing list that I use on every trip that I take. So it's not just my dive gear, but it's also the clothing and my camera stuff and things that, you know, are outside of just my dive equipment, but make sure that I don't end up in Curacao or Bonaire or wherever it is that I'm diving and I say, oh crap, I forgot batteries or I forgot this or that. So go ahead and check that video out and go ahead and click on the PDF packing list link down in the description below, and you can go ahead and get that packing list for yourself as well. Now, if you're going to be traveling more or just diving more in general with all the new things that you got for the holidays, then you're definitely going to want to make sure that you take care of it as well and keep it maintained. A Save a Dive kit is a must-have item for every diver, whether it's a larger one that you take with you for more local diving or maybe just a more portable one that you take with you on your dive trips. That's why this next idea is to help the diver in your life with their Save a Dive kit, whether it's picking up a few or all the items in this video where I talk about how to build a Save a Dive kit of your own. Click or tap the screen now to check that out. And with that, stay safe, have fun, and let's go diving.